And welcome to our November show. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Greg Picaveras, glad you're with us as we continue with our road tour since the pandemic in April of 2020. We started in March of 2020. We've been doing the show since February of 1992. Sports Highlights airs on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, weekends at 9 a.m., Cox Cable 47, 517, and nnpstv.com. It's a pleasure to talk to Scott Cullison, the head golf coach at Warwick High School. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Greg.
Very good. Tell us about your background in the Midwest and how you ended up in Newport News.
About 20 years ago, moved out here with family and just kind of enjoyed it and stayed. And, you know, it's been a pleasure.
You talk about the weather we're having right now, at least on this particular day. This is ideal golf weather.
Yes, absolutely. This would be perfect golf weather. I wish we were out on the course right now playing.
Absolutely. When you talk about your game, talk about your golf game and what are some of your strengths and weaknesses personally?
Just really the mental part of the game. Struggling with being consistent and, you know, hitting, you know, the shots that you want to hit and just trying to keep within the game, really.
Right.
Trying not to do too much, and, you know, that's the big problem with golf, is just trying to do more than you really should do to make up for a mistake instead of just, you know, taking it easy and playing smart.
Right. It's fundamentals and basic steps, and one thing about golf is it's sport for a lifetime. You see young and old both enjoying themselves. Absolutely.
Absolutely. This game is a game of life, and from all different levels. And really, I tell my kids this is a game that's going to follow you through life because, you know, it's a networking game. This is where business happens. This is where, you know, friendships happen. You know, everything seems to happen on the golf course.
You're having a good or bad day, this is a place to be.
This is a place to be.
Yeah, and you can see one thing about here, we're at Newport News Golf Club at Deer Run in Newport News, the same place where Celebration and Lights is, where you're familiar with it as far as walking in this beautiful park here, is that you can see wildlife out here too.
Absolutely. All kinds, deer, you know, turtles, everything.
Right. Now let's talk about the course here. They've got a couple courses here, and both of them are a little bit different.
Yeah, you have the Cardinal course, which is more of the basic course, and then we have the Championship course, which is a little bit longer, a little bit more challenging of a course.
Right. And you talk about sometimes the weather can affect the course too, especially on a heavy rain. We've had rain a lot in 2020. That can affect both the driving and the range as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really affects distances, and you don't get during it's dry, you get a lot of roll. You may get 20 or 30 yards of roll. When it's wet, you're not going to get that roll. So you got to really adjust your clubs and adjust your shots for that distance changes.
Before we talk about the Warwick Raiders golf, when you talk about golfers in general, how do you find a golfer interested in high school? Because a lot of times they've already played before they get to the ninth grade, and that gives you an advantage.
That does give us a huge advantage when they have played before. But, you know, we just try to recruit from, you know, different sports, different, you know, backgrounds, just anybody that wants an interest to come out.
Right.
You know, is a great thing. They just have to have that desire to want to come out and play.
Yeah, and play on their own. They just can't wait for practice to start.
Yeah, they need to play on their own, at least to the driving range, you know, once a week, twice a week, if, you know, to get better.
We're talking to Scott Cullison here at Newport News Golf Club at Deer Run, at Greg Bickle on Twitter, our November Thanksgiving show. Glad you're with us. Yes, November, and look at the weather, folks. This is beautiful weather. And one thing about Newport News and the peninsula in general, several good golf facilities.
Oh, absolutely.
Besides here as well. Talk about some of the ones you played on.
We play all over. We play here at Newport News Park, the Hamptons, Woodlands, Kiskiak, and Williamsburg. We played Williamsburg National. One of my favorite courses is over in Suffolk, Sleepy Hole and Riverview are two gorgeous courses to play.
And several on the south side too as well. And you talk about golf as far as the equipment. You don't need a whole lot. I mean, you only need one partner to play with. And talk about, for the person who's never played golf before, you need some golf clubs and some balls and what else? How about the proper shoes?
Just starting out, you can really just play in tennis shoes. You know, you really don't even need the golf shoes. I mean, that can come later. But a lot of people just play in basic tennis shoes. You know, as long as you've got the clubs, which you can go, you know, get a cheap set of clubs from pretty much anywhere. I got my first set from my grandfather, so
Yeah, passed generation down to generation.
Yep, and that's how I learned.
Talk about the Warwick golf team. Who are some of the players that have stood out? And what kind of team did you have before the pandemic?
We've actually had a lot of success at Warwick since I've been coach. In the Peninsula District, there's 10 teams. We've never finished worse than fourth. Usually we're fighting for second or third. But we've had some great teams through the years, and we've really battled Gloucester, which is our chief nemesis. But I've had some really great players and really great success over the years.
And Gloucester's got a lot of wide open fields out there. I'm sure they've always done pretty well in golf.
Yeah, they're typically one of the top teams, along with us and Minchville. Woodside's also been up there.
Right, folks, you've never been out here before. This is a beautiful facility. I mean, they got 2 golf courses. They got a snack bar. There's really something for everyone at the Newport News Golf Club. We had the former pro on, Greg, and he was a big part of this for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been up here and talked to Greg many times, and having him help the kids. And he's really been a kid-friendly.
As far as the putting and the driving, the grip is very important in the footwork on how you hold the golf club, and also the proper footwork and vision as well.
It is, but everybody has, once again, a little bit different way that they're comfortable doing it. And even the pros, have some very unorthodox swings, and you find what works for you. I mean, you teach them the basic holds and the basic footwork, but everybody's just a little bit different in how they do it. So you just kind of work with their swing a little bit, and get them into that where they can just repeat it.
Right. And southpaws, you don't see as many left-handers dominating golf. It's usually a right-hander sport.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, but there have been some good lefties over the years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a few lefties, and, I just tell them to watch, like, Phil Mickelson, and some of the, like I said, there's not a lot of lefties out there, but, Phil's one of the big ones.
And one of the good things about YouTube is a lot of instruction on golf, basic instruction. And
Absolutely.
Scott also coaches the tennis team at Warwick High School, so he's kind of double dipping a little bit. How has it been for you during the pandemic as far as work in general? As far as your day-to-day work?
It's a challenge, but, you get used to it, and you just find what works and what doesn't work, and you learn something new every day.
Yeah, look at it this year. Some of the majors have been all over the place, including the Masters, too. What are your thoughts about the Masters in the fall?
It's different. I'm kind of that traditionalist. Masters not in April is kind of tough, but it's going to be interesting to see him get back out there and get to the Masters, and, see how that change in weather, affects even the pros. The
biggest thing the next few years will be to see if Tiger can somewhat get closer and closer to Jack. Your thoughts about that?
The Masters is his course. He's dominated that course, and, if anybody can win at the Masters, Tiger's definitely one of the contenders.
Talk about a great TV event that'll be during football season to see Tiger dominating the Masters.
Oh, that
would be great.
That'd be great. Like I said, everybody cheers for Tiger.
Very good. All right, give us a golf tip for a beginner who's never played golf before, first time.
Just be resilient. If you want to learn, you're going to have your ups and your downs, and you just have to be resilient, and you have to just keep practicing, and it's never going to go well every single day.
Right.
So you just got to keep at it, keep going. Even those bad days, like you just want to give up, you just find that one shot, that one moment where it just kind of keeps you going back, like, hey, I can do this, I just need to practice more.
And it's a mental game, like I said, you got to put the bad shots in the rear view mirror and just move on.
And that's, once again, an extremely hard thing, even for the pros to do.
And
it's
folks,
hard to put it back.
And that's true in life as well. Put things in the rear view mirror and keep walking ahead. Scott Kellison, thank you so much.
Thank you much, Greg.
All right, Warwick golf coach right there, right here at Newport News Golf Club at Deer Run. Sports Highlights November show will continue after these messages.
You're watching NNPS TV. Catch sports highlights on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Visit us online at nnpstv.com to view all your favorite episodes. NNPS TV, watching education happen.
All right, take time. Ready 2, take 2. Oh, nice up. Take 3. Ready 1.
Excuse me.
Quiet on the set.
Choice. Public education in Virginia. What would you decide?
And welcome back to our November edition of Sports Highlights on the road right here at Newport News Golf Club at Deer Run. A lot of amenities out here, beautiful golf courses, nice snack bar, something for everyone. Hope you enjoyed our first interview from the Warwick High School golf coach. We now transition to the Woodside golf coach, Chris Trotter. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Just like I started off the last interview, this is a perfect golf day.
Perfect golf day. Perfect golf. Can't. There's barely any clouds in the sky, so yeah, it's perfect.
You grew up in Waynesburg. You went to Lafayette, right in the home of the Kings Mill Championships. And
Right.
of course, now you're living in Killen Creek. But Waynesburg is a home for golf.
Oh yeah, it's almost like, I mean, if you compare Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, that's like there's golf courses everywhere per capita. It's pretty close in Williamsburg. It's just known for, the golf, especially with the Kings Mill being around, and a bunch of other nice courses too.
Right. And of course, there was a men's golf tournament there for up until the earliest part of the
Right.
21st century. Then it went to the women's after that.
Yes, still popular, awesome. I try to make it as much as I can whenever they come. So.
Like anything else, they did not have it in 2020.
Right.
But how did you get involved in golf?
Well, I've actually started in Fort Eustis. My dad played there a lot on the weekends, and then when I got about 12 or 13, I started going out with him and walking. I wasn't good enough to play then, so then when he would finish, I would go and hit up the range when he would go in and eat or, have a root beer or something. And
Right.
And I just fell in love with it, and from then on, I started working at golf courses. I worked at Ford's Colony. I worked at Two Rivers as like a cart boy, and got in free golf whenever I could. And then I just started, enjoying it so much. So.
And this area's had some professional golfers like Curtis Strange and Skeeter Heath.
Yeah,
Talk
correct.
about your thoughts about Skeeter.
Skeeter's great. I actually know Skeeter. I play golf with his son a lot. He's a great guy. He's always helping out. He's over at Williamsburg Club, so whenever I get over there, he's always comes out to say hi. And yeah, just a local legend.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, golfing looks easy, but let's say somebody wants to go to Woodside High School, has never played golf before. Obviously, they need the right equipment, but it can be definitely intimidating if you just go out there once in a blue moon.
Oh, no doubt about it. If you have never played, it is the most humbling sport that I can think of. It is. It will put you on your knees. It will frustrate. It will frustrate you. So, but the more you do it, the better you get, and all it takes is that one shot.
Right.
Once you get that one shot, you're like, oh, and then it keeps you coming back and coming back. That's why people talk about golf addiction. That's what they mean by that.
Right, because even pro golfers, they hit bogeys all the time, so you can imagine how an amateur feels.
Oh, definitely. That's the only difference between a pro and an amateur is the amount of misses. Their misses are way better. They can hit better misses, and if you're an amateur, you tend not to hit as good of a miss as a pro would. So.
And they eat, drink, and sleep golf. We're talking to Chris Trotter
Correct.
from Woodside High School. This is right by Woodside High School.
Yes, it is.
Kind of like your home course here.
Yeah, that's why we try to get the first tee time after practice, so we can get here, get our stuff done, and get out.
What do you think about these two courses out here?
They're great for high school. They are great for high school. For walking, the Cardinal is the one we play a lot in the district tournament. So it's great for kids because they don't have to walk, a whole mile to get to the next hole. It's right there. So, and it's not too hard, so it keeps it, at a recreational level to where kids can enjoy it. So, but the second one, the Deer Run course, has been here forever. I remember the Red Spiegel tournament, and I think they've had a couple amateurs here. But that is a great layout. It still withstood the test of time. It's kind of fun to play it. I still play it.
Right. Of course, weather can affect it, a lot of things, but the grounds here are very well kept up.
Oh yeah, definitely. For a Parks and Rec class, or like a municipal course, this is actually pretty well kept in shape. As far as like, you can roll the ball on the hole and it'll get to the hole. So that's actually, that's what you're looking for. So
Yeah, and since March and April, we've been doing our social distancing shows outside, and golf is the perfect sport for that.
no doubt about it. I think our governor said at the beginning that golf was an essential sport. I don't think he was the only
Yeah.
one. So that's what I had to tell my wife so I could get out of the house. But,
Right.
It seemed to work, and it seems like golf is like the only booming business going on right now. It's actually,
We're talking to Chris Trotter. He's the golf coach at Woodside High School in Newport News, and you talk about something for everyone. We mentioned practice makes perfect, but there's a lot of tournaments for young and old in this area
yes.
under normal times.
Yes, totally. And there's still tournaments going on. I mean, like we said, it's an essential sport. So there's still tournaments like you can, I think they said they have an Under Armour tournament coming up. There's a junior junior VSGA, VJSGA. Yeah, sorry, got it. And there's a couple other places. You can always contact any golf course and they do a pretty good job of letting you know if you're a junior. They want to get kids involved, so just like high school, and keep the game going. So.
What do you recommend to get more kids involved?
Well, basically you need somebody to come out here with you. So I know that they offer a program here, like if you're 16 or under or 15 under, if you come with the parent, you get in for free. So, if you can get a ride here, then you can get the reps in, then you'll start getting better at it. It's just a matter of getting to the course.
Are there groups and private lessons both that you recommend? Or is it just pretty much one-on-one for lessons? How does that work?
Yeah, it depends. Well, in high school golf, usually when I have the kids come to me with little or no, like mostly lower skill levels, so we'll start from scratch. But I'll have to take 6 to 7 people and coach at the same time. So we'll do a lot of driving range stuff at the beginning, because that way I'll have them all there, and they can, I can see swings and stop them, pick one person here and then go to the next person, and slowly boost their confidence. It's all about building confidence at the beginning. So.
Right, because golf is mental too. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, and people think that it's easy just to swing a golf club.
Right.
It takes a lot of strength to drive it, like we saw earlier.
Right. Well, if you watch now, if you've been watching the PGA Tour, Bryson DeChambeau has been exploding with distance. So everybody's trying to hit that long ball. He's now like a long drive guy on tour. So everybody's trying to figure that out, and it's really you have to be an athlete nowadays almost.
Because the weather can affect it, the wind can affect it.
A lot of factors.
Exactly, the rain can affect it. You have to have the good attitude too. Because your attitude's bad, that can affect your entire golf game.
No doubt about it. That's what if you come after, a lot of times people will get a double bogey, they have a bad hole, and they'll carry it to the next hole. And that's one of the big things that we try to work on with kids' mentality, or anybody's mentality, when playing golf, is that you just got to drop the bad shot. Forget the bad, remember the good. That's what I always tell the kids.
I agree. And who are some of the golf players and pros that you look up to over the years?
Well, Tiger, of course, Tiger's the man. Right now, one of my favorite golfers I like is Justin Thomas. He seems like he's got one of the best short games. Of course, Phil Mickelson, he's great. He's a senior now, but he's got the best short game I've ever seen. But just anybody who hits an awesome shot, to me, and that seems to be like almost all the guys on tour. So I just like to see awesome shots.
Do you think it's going to come to the short game for the Masters? That's going to be a factor?
Well, it's always a factor. But, people talk about DeChambeau. He won the U.S. Open, and he hit the ball so far, but he really putted better than everybody else. So it's always about putting. Drive for show, putt for the dough. That's what I always say.
So for a student or an elderly person, there's something always to work on. You mentioned humbly, you could be putting. I mean, there's some pros that have trouble putting still.
All the time. Yes, it's, if anybody knows this, I hate saying it, the yips. If you have a short putt, the putters, some pros have lost their careers on bad putts. Sam Snead was he's also a local legend around here. But he couldn't putt from 1 foot in and stop winning tournaments towards the end. So.
And even look at Curtis Strange, he never won his own golf tournament.
Right.
So that's very humbling,
That is the stuff.
And also a little bit of an ego there too. What advice would you give for somebody who wants to play golf tomorrow?
To get out here, there is not much you can do right now. So get out, come to the golf course, try to get a rod, and go pound some balls and wait till you get that one shot that keeps you coming back.
Very good. And go pick up some balls too, right?
Right.
All right, Chris Trotter, Woodside Golf Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Woodside golf coach Chris Trotter talking about golf and fundamentals and giving good advice for young and old both to come out here and play golf. And again, this is a picture-perfect day. Sports Highlights November show will continue after these messages.
Fusion Fitness with Alexis. Tune in weekdays 6:30 a.m., Mondays 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m.
I want to be a historian.
I want to be a marine scientist.
I want to be an oceanographer.
I want to be an astronaut.
I want to be a zoologist.
I want to be an engineer.
Virginia is rich in educational resources.
Virginia is for.
Virginia is for.
Virginia is for. Virginia is for.
Virginia's for learners.
And welcome to our third segment of Sports Highlights, our November 2020 edition. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you enjoyed our Warwick and Woodside features about golf. Let's now shift gears to the golf club and somebody who works here for the last several years, Elizabeth Batch, the office manager. Good to see you.
Nice meeting you.
How would you say this golf course is with leagues? There's always leagues going on.
We're doing really well in leagues. We have 8 associations that have been playing regularly during this COVID, especially starting in July. We have 5 ladies leagues and 2 men's leagues, 3 men's leagues. They play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday.
Well, let's talk about we're in November now and talk about the future, November, December, January. How is that? Is that all based on the weather? Are you guys open year-round?
We're open year-round. The only day we close on is Christmas. Our hours are shortened. We close at 5 o'clock. We have the celebration of the lights starting in November, so we'll shut it down a little bit earlier. Then come January, February, we have, kind of cold and wet and snowy possibly, and we have frost delays, but we're open basically 8 to 5.
Well, not to mention it gets dark early, too.
That, too.
So you don't have lights out here, correct?
We do not have lights.
Right. We'll talk about this course here and talk about the other course.
Okay, this is the Cardinal course. It's a championship course. It has 18 holes. We're staying on hole number 10. The front of the Cardinal starts over on the other side, and that's number 1. On this side, we have Deer Run. Is a 18-hole championship course. It's a par 72.
Right, and you have a lot of amenities here. You got a nice putting range.
We have a putting range. The putting range is down there. We have a chipping range. We have a driving range. We sell 3 size buckets of balls. We have $5, $8, and the $16.
Right. Those balls are lost quick, aren't they?
They are, but they're washed. They're picked up through the range picker daily and washed, sanitized, ready for use for later on. As long as our club cars, they're washed and sanitized daily since COVID started.
And you also have a snack bar, too? A restaurant?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Fairweather's Barbecue and Grill.
Yeah. So really there's something for everyone. And one thing, you have a nice golf pro shop and a very nice staff. Of course, everybody misses Greg Overton, who was a big part of the golf course.
Yes, they do.
Let's talk about what Greg meant to this golf course.
He meant a lot. I mean, he helped design this building here. He also
he did a lot.
He did a lot.
He did a lot for the golf community.
Yes, yes.
There's been a lot of good golfers here, and one thing about golf, it's good for young and old both.
Correct. We're trying to get the juniors out here, so we have a junior membership that's for high school and under. It's like $100 for a year, and that's a calendar, at 365 days in a year, and they can come out and golf as much as they want.
Absolutely. We're talking to Elizabeth Batch. She's the office manager, kind of keeps it at the ground center here for the golf course, but really on a nice day like this is perfect golf weather.
It is. It is. It is.
Talk about the putting range over there and how does that work? Do they play for an hour? Are they just come out here and do that?
They just come and get their bucket of balls, pay for the bucket of balls, and some will hit for like 5 minutes. Some will be out here for 2-3 hours just practicing their putting, their chipping, their driving.
And for those that don't want to walk the golf course, they can use the golf.
We have golf carts that you can use.
Right.
Deer Run, you have to have a golf cart. It's 18 holes. You start at number 1 and you don't come back until you hit number 18.
Yeah.
Whereas Cardinal is a little bit more lenient for walking or riding. You start on number 1, you make the turn here at the clubhouse, and you start here at 10, go back and come back to the clubhouse.
And this is city-owned
This
and
is a
operated.
city-owned golf course.
Right.
It's a municipal golf course.
Absolutely. Talking to Elizabeth Batts, and of course, folks, as she mentioned, celebration lights are here too, and people can see that right around the golf course.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. What advice would you give out for somebody who wants to come out here and just play on a regular basis? As far as, are there memberships? And talk about that.
We do not have memberships. Like I said, we are a public golf course. The only membership we have are for the juniors. And that's to get the juniors out here to play more. It's almost like a free pass. You pay your $100, you get your pass, you just come in, and then you can either walk 9 or walk 18. If people want to play, it's great right now to call ahead of time, get reservations. And it's easier if you have 2 or more people, because we don't usually do single tee times. But you can call any day, the day of, and see if you can get out and play.
And a lot of the high schools play golf right here at Deer Run. Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
You
right,
have a great day.
You too. Elizabeth Batts right there, the office manager here at the Newport News Golf Club at Deer Run. So that continues our November Thanksgiving show on the road. Social distancing. I want to thank all of our guests today from Warwick High School, Woodside High School, and of course Elizabeth, Elijah Price, and Ray Price. So happy Thanksgiving. Stay warm or stay cool depending on the day in Hampton Roads. But the main thing is stay safe. I'm Greg Bicaveras. We'll talk to you soon.